There we go. Okay. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, just have to make sure I have good posture as a PT.
Right.
Okay. Oh, and let me move this to the middle. Okay. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the Perinatal Roundtable, where we talk about all things pregnancy and postpartum. I'm Abby, a virtual pelvic floor PT and a mom of 3, and I started this series because I believe every parent deserves a village of experts in their back pocket. And today, I'm so thrilled to introduce Dr. Claire Paxton, owner and operator of Steadfast Chiropractic. Dr. Claire is a pediatric and perinatal chiropractor with a passion for supporting moms and kids through every stage of development. With advanced training through the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, the Pediatric Experience, and BirthFit, she focuses on nervous system-centered care for pregnancy, postpartum, and growing families. Thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, I love that you said you focus on nervous system-centered care, because as a mom of 3, I got to be honest, my nervous system is a mess sometimes. And for all the moms out there that are feeling constantly overwhelmed or overstimulated, what exactly is happening in our nervous systems when we feel that way? And why is it so important during pregnancy and postpartum?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. So your nervous system is controlling every single function that your body does, like all of these things that you're not thinking about. Like if you're pregnant, you're not sitting there thinking like, okay, guys, let's grow some eyeballs today. Your body is just automatically doing these things. And there's 2 halves of the nervous system. You have your fight or flight side of the system, and you also have your rest and digest side of the system. And we need these 2 systems to work cohesively together. We don't want to spend all of our time in fight or flight, because that's where the overwhelm and the exhaustion and all of those things start to pop up, because it takes a ton of energy to be in that side of our system all the time. And then if we can't shift into that rest and digest side of the system, that's where like our social emotional relationships are developed. And that's where good quality sleep comes from. And we all know as soon as sleep goes out the window, so does emotional regulation. All of these different things that we want to tap into, immune function, they're all in that rest and digest side of the system. So we need to be able to have ease switching back and forth from side to side of the nervous system, so that your body is really functioning at a higher level and it's managing all of these things.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, definitely something I could work on. Now, I've heard you talk about before a nervous system anchor. And can you talk a little bit about what that is and how it kind of impacts a family?
Yeah, absolutely. So I see this all the time. Moms are generally the center of a household. They're the ones that are running the show. And the principle of co-regulation I talk about a lot in our office, because basically from the time of conception, especially through the first 2 years of life, but really long term, kids are regulating off of mom and mom's nervous system. And so one of the things that I see very consistently is that when a mom is able to take the time to care for herself, which is almost always put on the back burner, we see the ripple effect of how that impacts the rest of their family. You see how kids start to regulate better based on what mom's doing, because their body and their nervous system is learning how to do that directly from mom, starting in utero, which is really cool. I always compare it. So we all know that when you're pregnant, what you eat, baby eats, right?
Mhm.
But the same thing comes with nervous system regulation and the stress hormone production and all of these things. And pregnancy is inherently a stressful time in our lives. And I think there's a lot that we can do to really rally around moms and give them more support through this journey rather than sharing all of the not so fun sides of being a mom and being pregnant and all of these things. And so we see that ripple effect through an entire family. It's kind of like when you walk into a room and there's two people sitting in the room, and you walk in the room and you're like, oh man, the vibe in here is weird. Like these people were probably just arguing, right? We all know that feeling. And we're interacting with other people on a daily basis, but it's not necessarily something that we think about, but we feel the energy and the emotions. And so when that dysregulation is there, it kind of transfers in through the rest of the people in your circle.
Yeah, and I think that's so important that you don't always realize how much your emotions and just your general well-being are affecting the people around you. Even though as moms, we try to hide it. They know. They
Yeah,
know.
kids are smart. They're so smart.
Yes, yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit for a minute about, if you recognize that your nervous system is not doing great. I feel like a lot of my clients just feel so guilty about prioritizing themselves or doing what we would call like self-care. Talk to me a little bit about how can someone reframe self-care in a way that feels a little bit more realistic and not just like one more thing on the to-do list.
Yeah. So I think having like a set like timeline or this big thing that you have to do can be really daunting. Like to be like, you know what, I am going to work out every single day for an hour. As a mom, sometimes that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But can we be like, okay, let's just go outside, get some sunlight. Like now that the sun's out today, now that it is finally starting to get nicer out, like even just that switch from inside to outside is one of the easiest things that you can do. Get some sunlight, get the vitamin D, and you just see when you get outside, like that energy that you get. You're like, oh, finally, I'm not like stuck inside all day. The 5-minute things, oh my gosh, like a cup of coffee, like whatever, a tea, whatever, like the thing that you at like the core of your person loves, it doesn't have to be big. I am a coffee girl. I love a warm cup of coffee, which with kids, not always warm. Pop it in the microwave if you have to. Whatever you have to do, that like that little piece of joy that is part of what makes you you is really easy to do. I also am a major fan of gratitude journaling. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like literally just write down 3 things that you're grateful for. It can be your cup of coffee and that maybe you got to drink it warm today, or that you're grateful that the sun is shining, or that you get to spend time with your kids that day. It doesn't have to be this big thing, but when you start to focus more on the positives, it can really help you and your mentality and your mindset. And sometimes it's like the 5-minute thing that it's like you just need 5 minutes for yourself. And then you're like, okay, like I'm good. I can do the things. Sometimes, yes, you need a little bit longer, but it's not always reality on the day to day. So what is like the 2 or 3 things that you can take 5 minutes to do that will help you?
Yeah, I love that. And one of my kiddos is on the spectrum and he stims a lot. And we're having an issue, like a medication issue right now. So the stimming is stimming.
Yeah, that's
so
hard.
It is. It's always overstimulating. And one thing that I've done recently that I found like super helpful, because he's not doing it on purpose. Like his brain is just not regulated. And I know that, but my brain is also not regulated with the amount of noise and stimming. And so one thing I've really done is when I'm doing a task like making dinner or I got to put some dishes away or something like that, It is like, it's almost like nails on a chalkboard. You're like, oh my gosh, like, I
Yeah.
can't listen to the noise anymore. And so I've started doing like an audiobook or music or something like that with like headphones. Like I gotta
Yeah.
block out some of this noise for
Yeah.
just a minute and like to calm my own nervous system down. And like for me, that's kind of self-care. It's not taking any other time to do another task. It's doing it differently to take care of your own nervous system. I love
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be like this self-help book or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like read the fairy book if you want to read the fairy book or whatever like your thing is. Like just that small little slice, if you can find a time during the day, will drastically change your day and life.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I've heard you mention before too the importance of building a support team and specifically early in that kind of perinatal stage, like during pregnancy, birth, postpartum, that kind of time frame. What does that
Yeah.
actually look like? Like, what does that mean and what would that look like for somebody?
Oh my gosh. I have this conversation with every single mom, whether it's your first pregnancy or like your 20th pregnancy. The Your team is so crucial for you in particular, and really is setting you up for success. Because like there are so many things that, especially with a first baby, we spend so much time on planning the nursery and having everything color coordinated. And yes, that's so fun and it brings so much joy. But baby's not going to spend that much time there in reality in the first stage of life. They're going to be with you. And if you're planning to breastfeed, like that journey is a challenging journey, even in the most perfect breastfeeding journeys. It's a lot of time on your own with the baby where there's not a lot that other people can do to help you, but really setting yourself up so that when your questions arise, because they don't arise at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, they're going to come at 2 a.m. when the baby is screaming and you're exhausted and you're like, I just don't know what to do. So I always encourage my moms, I'm like, okay, sit down with your partner, have a list of all of your providers, whether you think you're going to use them or not. I am a huge fan of lactation. I'm a huge fan of pelvic floor PT, chiro.
Mhm.
Have all of these people listed out, your therapist, a house cleaner, whoever can help support you in this phase of life when you're just in the trenches with your baby, um, where you can be like, okay, I'm having challenges breastfeeding. Who can I call to help support me with this? Lactation, chiro, whatever, body work, these types of things are going to help support that journey so that, okay, we're struggling. Let me call this person in the morning. You already have a name. You don't have to sit there at 2 a.m. doing the research online. There is also a lot that you can do through your pregnancy, even to help support you and get you prepped for postpartum. We, of course, want to prep for labor and delivery because there's a lot that happens there. But in reality, that's a day, a couple days of the whole journey, and postpartum is a lot longer. And so, if there's a way that we can help get you prepared and get you the resources that you need, get you set up. I try and make the process really easy for our practice members. I'm always here when baby is here. I tell my moms, I'm like, hey, I'm going to kind of let you be for a couple weeks, but please reach out if you have questions, if you need anything at all. If you're like, hey, I am ready to get adjusted, we will get you in as quickly as possible. But I kind of let you have that 2 weeks where you're like just trying to figure out life with a new human and that first initial phase of healing. And then we kind of check in and see where you're at from there and what resources we can help get you to what's going on where you might need a little bit more support through that journey.
I feel like that's where so many people miss the mark. You're so busy preparing for the birth and labor. Um, People forget about the postpartum period where
Yeah.
it's like you're in the hospital or at a home birth, or it's like a day or two, but then you have all this postpartum. And especially my clients who really had like a medical thing happen, maybe they
Yeah.
hemorrhaged or they had really significant tearing, or maybe they had like a support person they thought were going to be there, but they were sick and they couldn't be there. It's like then you're just scrambling. And I think that's such an important point to make, is that preparing in pregnancy, not just for labor and delivery, but making sure you're preparing for postpartum. And I think people think immediately of like lactation and maybe like a support person to come over and help clean, but not necessarily chiropractic care or
Yeah.
pelvic floor PT. How do you move? I have so many clients that like maybe they had an emergency C-section and then they came home and they're like, I had to sleep on the couch for 2 weeks because I couldn't get up and down my stairs. I mean, just
Yeah.
things like that. And so you don't think about what if this happens, and preparing and being with a provider during pregnancy who knows you and
Yeah.
already can reach out and say, hey, haven't heard from you. What's going
Yeah.
on? How are you doing? And kind of keep you honest on that journey, I think is such a useful tool to have a successful postpartum journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have definitely learned, because I'll see a lot of my moms, I'll see mom and baby at the same time the first time I see them in
Yeah.
postpartum. And I have learned over and over and over again, ask mom 2, 3, 4, 5 times, like, how are you doing? How are you in postpartum? Because it's so easy to shift to like, oh, the baby needs this or so and so needs this. And so really trying to focus on mom too, because I think that is a lot of times where we drop the ball, because babies are cute. I'll be the first one to say it, but we need to support moms so that they can support their babies too.
Yeah, so it just made me think, when you're seeing moms and babies like pretty soon postpartum, what are some of the most common things you're seeing in moms and in babies?
I would say sleep is one of the first things that I like to talk about, because if babies aren't sleeping, you're also not sleeping. And we already know that there is going to be a shift in sleep in this period of time. But for moms, like, can you put the baby down and let them get a couple hours of sleep? Are you falling asleep in that period of time, or are you laying there wide awake for an hour or two, and then by the time you finally fall asleep, baby's waking up again? So that's one of the big things. I also talk a lot about feeding. Um, is the baby comfortable feeding? Are they having challenges with latch if we're breastfeeding? Is there reflux, constipation, colic? Because that impacts everything, is kind of a domino effect. Um, is feeding painful for mom? Um, are they getting chomped on the whole time? All of these things that we're looking at where we can really support both baby and mom in this scenario, because also feeding in particular is very emotional too. And so if you're struggling with something like latch and you go into postpartum and you're like, I really want to breastfeed, you have this idea in your head of what it looks like, and then you start and it is so different. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? For one, nothing, most likely, most likely nothing, but you might just need extra support to get you to that breastfeeding journey that you want. So I look at like, how does mom feel? Because also I see a lot of pain and discomfort with like low back pain through pregnancy. And it almost always switches to upper back and neck pain, because you're sitting looking down at this sweet little human that you grew all by yourself. And they are feeding all the time and they want held all the time. And so biomechanically, like, there are so many things that are happening and you have no core to support yourself in this stage of life. And then maybe you can't do a traditional cross cradle hold with your baby because they don't have a latch that's very good on one side, because their range of motion isn't there, or there's a lot of tension lingering from birth. So we talk very heavily and in depth there, because again, like, I see the trajectory of that entire journey shifting, even just using chiropractic care, but I always encourage lactation as well. That is one of the big things. With a baby, we're looking, are they eating? Are they sleeping? Are they pooping? If they're not mastering those three things, those are on the rest and digest side of the nervous system. If they're not mastering those three things, their brain neurologically is working in layers and layering on top of that. So in order to get to the higher level learning, to the motor milestones, to the connection milestones, we have to master those things and then start moving on. And then mom, are you sleeping? What is emotional regulation like? What is your C-section scar like? Do we need to do any work there? What support do you have? What is pain and discomfort like? How are all of the hormonal shifts that are happening? Are you having headaches? Things like that. And yes, some of those are pain and discomfort, but we're looking for, where is stress happening in this phase? Where did it start? Did it start in pregnancy, birth, in postpartum, weeks after? We're looking for all those little pieces, because we also see that when moms and babies get care together, because they're regulating so heavily off of each other, we see them both, the trajectory just changes and it speeds up the healing process, which is really, really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so great. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah.
Now, for busy moms who have zero time, what are a few really simple, realistic ways that they can start supporting their nervous system today?
Big fan of breath work, really getting big, deep breaths. That would be the first one. Sunlight, staying hydrated, like, get your electrolytes in, keep yourself hydrated, and please remember to eat too. I know that is like the hardest thing to do, because you're like, I have to feed everyone else. And then it's like, okay, here's the leftover cold mac and cheese from my kids' plate that they didn't eat.
So true.
Yeah. And everybody's like, wow, cold mac and cheese is really delicious.
Yeah.
But even if it's like having something handy, whether it's like a beef stick or a protein bar, like something that can actually give you sustenance. Like, I will be the first one to say that I am a toddler, and if you don't feed me and you don't let me sleep, like, I am a mess. And so making sure that you're eating too, because so often you're too busy and you're doing all of these things. So one of that kind of leads me back to prepping for postpartum. Like, as many like one-handed things that you can have scattered about your house that you can eat. Like, have people prep you those that you can like pull out of the freezer, like a little breakfast burrito or beef sticks, like these easy things that you can have access to. Move as well. Whatever you love to do. It can be 5 minutes. Do downward dog for a couple minutes and do like a couple breaths. Your kids will want to do it with you too. They're going to be like, Mom, what are you doing? Get them excited about movement too, because your whole demeanor will change when you move, when you get sunlight, when you hydrate, when you're eating well.
Yeah, and your kids will feel that shift. Your whole family will feel that shift, just like you talked about being the nervous system anchor.
Yeah.
Everyone will feel you shifting to take care of yourself, and then help, and the whole family will be better taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love that, having the one-handed snacks ready. When I had my kiddos, I had like nursing bins. So it had like burp cloth, like stuff I really like needed right away, like burp cloths, wipes, one diaper, like a swaddle. I think I would have like one onesie in there, emergency onesie, And then I'd
Yep.
have like snacks or like
Yeah.
a
Emergency
water
shirt
bottle.
too.
Yes. Yeah. Just like a little bin. And I just kept them like one in our living room, one up in our bedroom. So I had it like handy. And
Yeah.
that made it such a big difference. But I love making sure it's one-handed.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Well, for anyone listening who is thinking, I need this support, this sounds great. How can people get a hold of you or get in contact with you to start working with you?
Oh my gosh, so many ways. We try and make it super easy for you. First up would be our website is www.steadfastchiro.com. There's a ton of information on there. We are also very open to questions too. So reaching out via Instagram is totally fine as well. Our Instagram is at steadfastchiro. You can call our office. We're located in Hilliard on the west side of Columbus. So our office number is 614-664-3710. You can even send an email to info@steadfastchiro.com. We might be a little bit slower from the email side of things, but if you reach out via our website or our Instagram, we see those pretty quickly. So we're happy to help anyone there.
Yeah.
And then also when you reach out to us, if you mention the Perinatal Roundtable and you're interested in starting care in our office, you are going to get a discounted exam. Normally our new patient exam runs $150, but it's actually going to bring that down to $97, which is really awesome.
Yay. Thank you so much for doing that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, well, this has been such an amazing conversation. I just thank you so much for being here, Claire, and sharing your heart and your expertise with us today. And for everyone watching, thanks so much for hanging out with us at the Perinatal Roundtable. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.